Recent polling has shown Reform UK taking the lead, creating a general election map that could be alarming for Sir Keir Starmer. The latest surveys indicate that the Prime Minister's party would see a significant decrease in seats if a nationwide vote were held. A Find Out Now poll has Nigel Farage's party at 34%, while Labour stands at 16%, down 3 percentage points since September 10th. Kemi Badenoch's Conservatives also registered 16%, up 1 percentage point. The Liberal Democrats, currently holding their conference in Bournemouth, are at 13%, an increase of 1 percentage point, according to the latest poll conducted with 4,795 adults in Great Britain between September 17th and 18th. The Greens, now led by London Assembly member Zach Polanski, received 12% in the poll. According to Nowcast, Reform UK would secure 352 seats in a general election, 347 more than in 2024. Labour would win 107 seats, a drop of 304 from last year's landslide victory. The Liberal Democrats would gain 74 seats, 2 more than previously, while the Conservatives would face an even worse outcome than in 2024, winning only 31 seats, a decrease of 90. Find Out Now claims to be a consistent outlier regarding Reform's voting intentions, attributing a higher vote share to the party compared to other pollsters. The firm argues that this is not a mistake, suggesting 3 factors that lead researchers to understate Mr Farage's party support. 1. An overrepresentation of highly engaged respondents. 2. An overestimation of voter turnout. 3. Misremembering the 2024 general election vote. The pollster noted that Reform voters tend to have lower political engagement, and since most online panels, except Find Out Now, overrepresent highly engaged respondents, they underestimate the Reform vote share. Additionally, because Reform voters are more likely to actually vote, this narrows the perceived gap between them and other parties, further underestimating their support. Find Out Now believes that many Conservative voters who switched to Reform may have false recall, mistakenly thinking they voted Reform in 2024. They added that pollsters who re-ask about the 2024 general election in each survey tend to underestimate the extent of the switch from Conservative to Reform, thus misrepresenting the Reform vote share. This comes as Sir Keir Starmer attempts to strengthen his government's position. In a statement for The Sun on Sunday, he remarked, "We're at a crossroads. There is a dark path ahead of division and decline, toxicity and fear, a path that relies on destruction and disappointment, because when the damage is done and the graffiti cleaned away, it's clear the populace never had anything to offer. No hope, no future, no answers. Or there is the patriotic path of national renewal. Every one of us playing our part to renew, restore, rebuild the country we love. That is the path we choose. Because this government is taking responsibility to reverse the decline." Recent polling reveals that Labour's reputation has suffered due to the controversial decision to end universal entitlement to winter fuel support. When asked what Labour had accomplished since Sir Keir Starmer took office, the decision to means test the benefit was the most memorable for respondents, 24%. Other notable mentions included failing to stop small boat crossings, 12%, and raising national insurance contributions, 10%. This polling, commissioned by Conservative peer Lord Ashcroft, is likely to increase pressure on Sir Keir Starmer ahead of his conference speech in Liverpool next week. An anonymous Labour MP expressed concern about the damage caused by the means testing decision, stating, "I really think the problem he's got, and what's fatal for him, is that we are framed by the very first thing he did, which was the winter fuel payment means testing. The problem is both Keir and Rachel are tied to that." The MP described this decision and the national insurance increase as self-inflicted wounds that have left Sir Keir's leadership in a death spiral. The government reversed its stance in June, allowing pensioners with an income of £35,000 or less to receive winter fuel support, but polling indicates that the initial decision has lingered in voters' minds. Predicting that new Labour MPs will push for a leadership change following significant elections next year, the MP said, "I do think when the newbies start feeling the pressure after May, when we lose council seats and don't perform well in the Welsh and Scottish parliaments, the pressure for him to step down will be immense." The polling did provide some reassurance for Sir Keir, suggesting that voters might choose Labour due to dissatisfaction with alternative candidates for Prime Minister. When asked who would be the better leader, 30% preferred Sir Keir over Kemi Badenoch, who garnered 23%, with the rest undecided. In a comparison between Sir Keir and Nigel Farage, 39% chose the PM, while 39% opted for the Reform UK leader. Chancellor Rachel Reeves has been criticised by nighttime advisor Sacha Lord, who claimed she has no interest in hospitality. Lord labelled her national insurance increases in last year's autumn budget as both reckless and short-sighted. He noted that the 2024 budget was disastrous for the hospitality sector, leading to numerous closures and over 110,000 job losses, more than any other industry. Lord, a member of the Labour Party, expressed a lack of confidence in the current leadership, citing a recent failure of judgment and loyalty, and remarked that the cabinet is excessively focused on London, despite promises of regional empowerment. His comments followed a previous appeal to Chancellor Rachel Reeves in February, urging her to take immediate action to prevent the collapse of thousands of hospitality businesses across the UK. In an open letter, Lord, who previously served as Andy Burnham's nighttime economy advisor for Greater Manchester, stated he no longer views Labour as the party of business and growth. In a recent post on X, Lord mentioned, "Since joining the Labour Party, this will be the first conference that I'll be missing. I joined after several meetings with the then shadow cabinet, who assured me of a vision as the party of both business and growth. This was reiterated at their manifesto launch in 2024, but this simply isn't the case. The last budget was a disaster for hospitality, resulting in many closures and causing over 110,000 job losses, more than any other sector. I lack faith in the current leadership, which has shown a lack of both judgment and loyalty. The cabinet is again too London-centric, despite promises of more power to the regions, which now seem like empty words. I have been invited to speak at both the Lib Dems and Tory conferences, both eager to engage with the struggling sector, something Labour is failing to do. It's clear the current Chancellor has no interest in hospitality, the UK's fifth largest sector. Her national insurance increase was both reckless and short-sighted. Sadly, I predict that many dedicated Labour councillors will lose their jobs in May due to poor decisions made at the top. Decisions that, to me, do not reflect Labour Party values. A fish rots from the head.